Why is bringing your parents back so important?
I'm working really hard to become a full-blown wizard and actually join the Conjuration Tower. I want to someday run the Conjuration Tower. I'm terrified of the fact that I'm leaving my sister behind. When I leave, she's on her own. We don't have any other family besides our parents who are dead. So unless they're there, she's going to be completely on her own. So I'm trying to bring them back for her to sort of alleviate my own guilt for trying to leave her. Greetings, traveler, and welcome to City of Town, an improvised D&D adventure. I'm Michael.
And I'm Casey. Now, Michael, what exactly is an improvised D&D adventure?
Well, an improvised D&D adventure is an adventure that Casey and I are going to make up on the spot. No prep work, no character sheets, just infinite amounts of dragon slaying and infinite amounts of D&D improv fun.
That's right. Now, every episode is around 60 minutes, and you do not have to have seen every episode that came before. Each episode and adventure is completely standalone.
And you also do not have to have read all the Dungeons & Dragons rulebooks. We loosely base everything off D&D 5e, but we never stress about following the rules. We never go and reference Tasha's Cauldron of Everything or Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. We make up spells, we make up feats, we butcher the backstories of races and characters. Because that's what we do here.
Dang right. Now, we use two dice here at City of Town. We use the D20 and the D6. We use the D20 for all attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks. We use the D6 for everything else we come up with along the way. You'll know it when you see it. You'll see it when you know it.
Each episode, one of us will be the Dungeon Master, and the other one will be the player. And today's Dungeon Master is none other than Casey Dunn!
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. I would like to take this time to say, get ready for a great adventure. And a DM is nothing without their wonderful, ecstatic to take part in, great, loving puppet of a player.
I was really honored until you called me a puppet.
Michael is going to be our player today. Michael, are you ready for an adventure?
I am so ready.
Good, because our adventure begins, as all great adventures do, with a castle filled and decayed by swamp creatures that have overtaken it. You find yourself within a withered, broken down library.
I gotta find this book. If I don't find this book, I'm not going to know the knowledge inside of it. I pull my wizard's cloak tighter around me, hoping that it's going to, camouflage me in the darkness of this castle.
Yes.
It is pitch black.
Absolutely. Is you hear, as you are, but any creature without dark vision. What kind of creature are you?
I am, of course, a tiefling.
A tiefling, yes. As you hear scuttering in the darkness, one of the deformed, moss-ridden creatures that just made that noise.
Ugh.
I'm going to need you to make a stealth check.
Sasha told me I shouldn't have come in here, but I need this book. That's an 11 plus 1, 12.
Yes. I'm going to roll just to see for perception for them. They, okay, you hear the sounds of this muffled walking getting further away from you. It seems as though you evaded them for now. And you're right. Sasha did tell you not to. She said, in fact, please, Lawrence, whatever you do, we don't need that book. There must be another way to bring our parents back.
I can't imagine it. The Conjuration Tower has been no help. They told me that this kind of magic is completely forbidden. But if I can find the book, Conjuration Magic for Silly People, 101, then we can bring them back. We can conjure their spirits from the afterlife and build them new bodies using artificery magic. But we need the spirits back first.
It hasn't even been seen. That book hasn't been seen in centuries. What makes you so sure that it's within the Daundreer castle?
I'm not sure, but they have such an extensive library. That king was an infamous reader.
He
And
was.
obsessed with magical power.
Yeah, the Daundreer Castle, famed within the nearby land. It's a place that no locals, at least no locals, have been known to go in and to escape in quite some time. The family curse was set upon them by a witch back in the day, and since then, the Daundreer family has had tragedy after tragedy, and now it seems as though the castle has been completely abandoned. Now,
I wonder if all those tragedies came from constantly searching after knowledge and magic.
There's normally a 1-to-1 there. So maybe.
I'm sure that my constant search for knowledge and magic wouldn't possibly lead to something like that.
I don't think so. I don't think that's where this adventure is going. I really think where it's going is you're going to get this book, you're not going to return it, and so you're going to have just a horrible library fine, and the library coven is going to be looking for you for the rest of your life.
Well, that's the adventure right there. So now we're done.
Done. Thank you.
Bye.
So, Michael, your character Lawrence is in this library, and a lot of the books are stained. The leather is starting to crack on them. What are you doing to try and find this book within this library?
Well, first of all, I'm ritual casting comprehend languages.
Okay.
Because a lot of these books are not in the common tongue.
No.
Because they sent for these books from all over the world.
Yeah.
And I don't mind which language version of Conjuration Magic for silly people I get. Mm-hmm. I just need any of them.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm searching for this book throughout the different sections.
So I'm going to need you to make a perception check.
Got to figure out if I can actually figure out how this Dewey Decimal System works
that
they're using.
Exactly.
Because do they use the normal Dewey Decimal System here that I'm used to?
They absolutely do not. But how much do you know about libraries? How much does Lawrence know about libraries?
Like a very basic amount.
Okay.
So I've gone to libraries. They're not super common where I'm from, but I've gotten access to them a few times. So I'm vaguely familiar with them.
Yeah. All right.
Because you got to be to some extent to be a wizard.
Yeah.
But I'm a low level beginner wizard.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and roll, and we'll see. We'll see what you know.
Oh yeah, that worked out really well. That was a nat 1.
Okay. The books. I mean, you are so overwhelmed by just the scale of this library. It is huge. It's several floors. Each floor goes for, what seems like close to a mile. So there are just thousands upon thousands of books within this place. And whatever system they're using is clearly not the Dewey Decimal System, but it almost just makes zero sense. You'll see a book on Arcana next to a survivor's guide for forests. And so, there's not really what you would classify as just, an approachable system. It almost looks like they're just thrown about.
Come on, Lawrence. You can figure this out. Come on. Any good wizard could figure this out. Is there, a central desk to the library?
Yeah, there is. On the very first floor, which you've scaled down to, there is a desk that's been beaten and ravaged, but you make your way over to it, and go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Much better at investigation. That's a 12 plus 3, 15.
Yeah, so with a 15, at first, it seems like the desk has been pretty much left for bare, but you notice within one of its drawers that there's a fake bottom to it.
Oh, okay.
And so you're pretty sure that it requires some type of specific key or something to open, but you could potentially just bust it open. What would you like to do?
I mean, I look around. Do I hear any of those like swamp monsters nearby? Because I'm afraid that if I make too much noise, I'm going to attract them.
Yeah, I mean, there's none that are like within just a direct vicinity of you, but you do hear soft movements and other cries through the night.
All right, I am not going to make any noise then.
Yeah. Okay.
Are there any clues about like where the librarian went or something like that? I feel like if like the librarian like died on the premises, I could like find her grave or something.
Yeah, you got a pretty good roll. So you do, number one, you know that there is a family plot where other like counts of the Daundreer family and stuff have been buried. And then you also know that the librarian actually stayed in the castle. And so you don't quite know where their room would be, but you would assume that it would probably be somewhere near the library.
Okay. Can I try to find... I feel like this library might have like a guide or something to the castle. Like, is there like a tourism guide or something that I could reference?
I mean, no, like, this is kind of like estates really were. I mean, I don't know how much you know, but like, I don't know how much you know in general. Like,
yeah.
Roll
small.
Roll a nat D20 on Michael's intelligence.
17 plus 11, so 28.
Wow.
28.
You're very smart. I'm sorry that I even thought that you might not know something.
Yeah.
So estates were traditionally open for high members of society to come and take tours of. That was not an uncommon thing. And so even especially when like the count would not be present, people had the opportunity to just walk the estate and look at the beautiful art that had been gathered as well as other things, though often the library was one of the places that wasn't open to the public. And so you search around and you actually do find a map of the main areas of the castle. And while you can't identify where the count's room is within the castle, you do see something that says servants' quarters. And it looks as though that's just nearby across the lawn.
Okay. Do I also see an armory listed on the...
Yeah, you do see an armory.
Okay, so because I do have, my basic magic skills, my basic magic spells, I don't own like knives or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So first I'll go to the armory to get like at least some sort of weapon and maybe some sort of armor, and then I want to head to the servants' quarters.
Okay, so as you're going to be heading there, I am going to need you to make a stealth check. And is there anything that you're doing
Lawrence.
to particularly hide from these creatures?
So I did wrap my boots in like cloth to stop them from making as much noise as I walk. Mm-hmm. Also reducing traction.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only thing I did. And I'm also wearing my cloak, which of course is completely black.
Okay.
To blend in as much as possible with the darkness.
Good idea.
15 plus 1, 16.
Ooh, all right. So let's just make sure. Okay, so as you are walking through, you're being pretty silent. You're keeping within the shadows, and you step into a corridor, and suddenly you see a creature standing just a ways away, and you very quickly dive back behind the door. And as you're standing there, you feel moss on your hand. And the moss groans.
Fucking knew it. I knew you were going to do this to me.
You try to move out of the way, but it's going to get the attack first. As one of these creatures has you in its arms, it's actually going to try and grapple you, pulling it towards you. as these creatures tend to pull creatures in, either suffocating them or the moss grows over them and tries to grow into the person's mouth, transforming them into another moss creature.
Is this just one of many creatures in the castle, or is there a lot of moss creatures? Is that
There,
what the deal is?
The moss creatures seem to have really thrived in this area.
Okay, invasive species style.
Yeah, you haven't seen much else. You have heard things that don't quite sound like these creatures in other parts of the castle, but you haven't seen anything else yet.
Okay.
Cool. So let's do a grapple check. So go ahead and roll strength.
8 minus 1, 7.
Okay, it got a 14, so it is going to grapple you. So it pulls you in, as it's not crying out for any help or anything, but it is like, oh, as you just feel the sludge of this moss growing over you. I am going to need you to make a Constitution save.
Fantastic. 17.
17. You feel some of the moss coming over your mouth and trying to break its way into your mouth to gain access to you, but you're able to clench your mouth and your lips shut, keeping it away. It is now your turn.
Okay. So I want to try to get my mouth free because I need to be able to use my mouth to verbally cast a spell.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I have to do to get my mouth free?
To get your mouth free, I mean, you need to break away from this thing. So, I mean, it is moss, so fire is something that it's normally vulnerable to. And it's also not like it, this thing is kind of breaking apart as it essentially what you're able to tell upon like closer inspection, because you're real close at this point. So you see that there is some type of humanoid at the center of this moss creature that it seems like the moss has taken over and grown out of. And so it seems like its limbs aren't quite as strong as maybe the humanoid used to be.
Okay. Oh, wait, it took over someone?
Yeah. It's what it's trying to do to you.
It needs another body inside of it. Okay.
Well, it's like a parasite, It's just trying to grow.
Okay, how do I get my mouth free out of this thing? Fire. Am I able to use my arms?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, then could I grab at the moss and like pull it away from my mouth just so I could like say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, do I have to roll or do I just do it?
No, you would be able to move it away. You're not able to break the grapple if that's not what you're choosing to do.
Oh,
but
yeah,
you are able to just like get some separation.
Cool. So I just push the mouse off my mouth so that I'm able to speak, and I'm gonna go ahead and cast Phase Shift, which just for one round puts me out of phase with the environment around me, so that I can basically just walk through people and walls and things like that.
Okay. Awesome. What are you doing when you cast Phase Shift?
Running like hell as far as I can towards the armory.
Okay.
Which is just my standard 30 feet.
Okay, you're sprinting away. Are you doing anything to be quiet? No, you're sprinting. So
Well, also I'm out of phase, so I don't think I really make noise when I'm out of phase.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. All right. So you sprint away. The armory isn't that far away, so I do think you'd be able to make it. But I am going to when you come back into phase with the natural surrounding area, I'm going to have you roll a stealth check to see how you hide from that creature that's already on high alert as well as other nearby creatures.
Cool.
So go ahead and roll stealth.
9 plus 1 is 10. So I guess not the worst.
Okay. Not the worst. You enter into the armory and you don't hear that creature following after as it kind of cries out, letting other creatures with nearby know that it just interacted with something, but it doesn't seem like it knows where you went.
Damn it. They're all going to be on high alert now. And I want to look around the armory and see what do I see in here.
And, as we're about to do this, I think this is like a good time to check in on why bringing your parents back is so important to you and Sasha. Like, what it is about their loss that's driving you to be making some, like, pretty scary decisions as far as coming into this castle that is clearly cursed and has a lot of dangerous creatures lurking within it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, because I'm working really hard to become a full-blown wizard and actually join the Conjuration Tower, because my goal is I want to someday run the Conjuration Tower, but
yeah,
I'm terrified of the fact that I'm leaving my sister behind, and she's not a wizard.
No, she's not, and she's actually quite a bit younger than you. She's only 9 years old.
And so when I leave, she's on her own. We don't have any other family besides our parents who are dead. So unless they're there, she's going to be completely on her own. So I'm trying to bring them back for her to sort of alleviate my own guilt for like trying to leave her.
Yeah, and I mean, at this time you left her with a friend to watch after her while you're gone, but I assume that has to weigh pretty heavily on you that you're away, and I mean, you're in a dangerous predicament, and if you die, then she truly has no blood family left.
Yep. Absolutely no one.
Well, hopefully Sasha doesn't become an orphan, but
I think I'm definitely like blocking that. Like, I don't think that Lawrence has fully like grasped the fact that that's what he's done in this moment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just wanted to check in, see where we're at with that. So good to know. Now, you enter into this armory. You don't see any other creatures in this room. But you do see that it's been pretty picked clean. Luckily, there are a couple of rusted iron knives and pokers that you would be able to use as at least an assisted weapon.
Are there any like leather jerkins or anything too that I could put on, or no armor?
Go ahead and roll an investigation.
Investigation. It was almost an 18. Now it's a 2.
That's
2
brutal.
plus 3 is 5.
It looks like this place has been really ravaged and ransacked. It's interesting because you hear so much about people not going into this castle and avoiding it, but it definitely seems like there have been looters who have come through and stolen. I mean, most of the walls are picked clean. The only place that you have noticed isn't picked clean is the library.
That's so interesting. These people just don't realize that books of knowledge are what matters most.
Yeah, that's it.
What this king was obsessed with is what people are the least interested in about his castle. And Lawrence ponders that.
Yeah.
And he grabs the two rusted knives.
All right, you grab these 2 rusted knives.
And I put them in my belt.
Are you heading towards the servants' quarters now?
Yes, I'm going to head to the servants' quarters.
Okay, cool. As you make your way, I am going to need another stealth check.
No, stealth check.
What'd you get?
That one.
Are you serious?
It was, yeah.
Well,
It was like a little cocked, and then I just slightly moved it. It was a nat 1.
I appreciate your honesty. So you put these knives, you sheath them, and as you go to move out into the lawn area to cross over to the servants' quarter, one of the knives falls out of your waistband and clatters to the ground as it hits onto some of the stone. Yeah, you fall, you stop. And for a moment, it seems as though maybe something didn't hear it. And then you hear as clutched onto the side of this castle is this deformed, long-armed, spindly, moss-riddled dragon. It looks around, its eyes glazed over, moss actually starting to sprout out of them. This is a blinded moss dragon as it makes another trying to sense where the noise came from.
I hate this sound. Okay. So it's blinded and it's clearly going by sound.
Yes.
I'm going to cast silence on myself.
Okay. You cast silence on yourself as the dragon is aware of the shift within the weave, sensing magic, but it's not able to place where it just came from. You move towards the servants' quarters.
I do pick up the knife I dropped.
As this dragon stomps down onto the ground, looking, trying to find where potential source of food is moving. But it's not able to find you as you scurry into the servants' quarters.
Awesome.
So,
this place is dangerous.
this place is very dangerous.
Lawrence gets inside. That was fucking close. Okay. Gotta get the hell out of here.
All right, so what are you going to do in these servants' quarters to find potentially this key?
Are the doors labeled or anything? Man, I'm going straight back to like organizational system. Just like in the I'm always looking for an organizational system. Some way to make the world make sense.
You know what? High or low? Let's leave it to chance.
High.
Yeah. On each door is like which is the title of which servant would be in which. So you have like the housemaster, you have the main chef, line cook, those different types of things, and at the end of the corridor you see librarian, and it seems to be, it's like clearly a nicer door, more ornate, and it's a lot bigger of a door than the other doors.
I'm gonna go ahead and try to open it.
It is locked.
Also, that is very cool that the librarian has like a special room that's like a place of honor.
Yeah.
I like that. It's locked. I'm gonna bust out my lockpick tools.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to see if you can get in.
7.
All right. You work it and you feel a break as your lockpick is snapped in half.
I should have read that lockpicking 101 book more.
Yeah. Same author as the book of Silly Magic.
What?
Or for Magic for Silly People.
Conjuration Magic.
Yeah.
Why was he also writing lockpicking books?
He was a man of many talents.
Wow. That guy's my hero.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Lucas
So
Debrang. That's his name.
Lucas Debrang?
Lucas Debrang.
Lucas Debrang. Okay.
Yeah.
What would Lucas Debrang do in this moment? Well, I'm here looking for a key to a secret door in the library, and now I need to see a key to get through this door. So where would I find this key? This key would probably be like on like the head janitor's.
You didn't see a head janitor, but you do remember a housemaster.
Housemaster. Okay, I want to go to their room.
Okay. You try to open the door and it's locked.
Is it as sturdy of a door as the librarian?
No, not even close. The rest of the doors are like pretty thin versus the librarian's door that is made of like a sturdy, thick oak.
Oh fuck! But I don't want to kick it down because that'll make noise. And I don't want to use knock because that makes noise. How do I get into this room? Is there an outside to this, like, to these quarters?
There are windows.
Okay, I want to go around to the windows.
Okay. You go back out and you don't see the dragon in the courtyard anymore. You go around the side.
But also, where the hell is it?
So you go around the side, and the window to the housemaster's room has actually been smashed open.
Oh. What about the window to the librarian's room?
You notice that all of the windows but the librarian's have been smashed open.
Okay. Why would this have happened? And I'm going to go ahead and climb into the housemaster's window.
Yeah, you climb in. Let's have you do a dexterity just because you need to avoid breaking any of the glass.
4. Lawrence, absolutely killing it.
Okay. Yeah, you hear some glass break. And you hear sounds throughout the castle, but it doesn't sound as though something's just like immediately sprinting towards you.
Great. Fantastic. Okay. So, I'm inside the...
Yeah, you're inside.
I want to look around for keys.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll a perception check.
Can I do investigation?
No. Sorry.
9 plus 1, 10.
Because you see that this place is pretty picked through and barren again. And you notice that there's only a dresser and a bed still left in this room. You open up the dresser and you don't see anything. Literally everything's just been taken out of them. Do you want to further look into this place, or do you want to try somewhere else?
How do I get into this librarian's room? Okay. I'm just going to burn a spell slot on this. I'll go back to the librarian's door, and I'll cast my phase shift again.
So you get ready to go climb out the window, and you turn towards it. The dragon is right there, staring directly at you. Go ahead and roll a stealth check. We're going to see whether it notices you.
10 plus 1, 11.
It stares. It breathes on you. Looks. And flies away.
This dragon, Jesus Christ.
It did not notice you.
I think I take a second before I head out and, like, starting to realize, like, how dangerous this really is.
Yeah. Yeah, there's, like, you were
I may be in over my head.
You were so overmatched by a dragon. Like.
Yeah. I'll climb out the window.
Okay.
And I'll head back to the librarian's door. I gotta just make this quick. So I'm gonna cast phase shift on myself and walk through the door.
All right. You phase shift and you walk through the door, and as you go through it, you see an abomination.
Oh God.
Laying upon the bed in this room. This room was clearly beautifully ornate. Nothing has been touched on it. Cobwebs are sagged on everything. A king-size bed stands at the center of the room, and upon it, moss grows from each of the walls all towards this center where you see a body. The body of the librarian. They're disgustingly beautiful. This moss growing out of it in all of these different colors. You have reds and violets and deep burgundies. You have pinks, all growing in this beautiful bouquet as part of their head is grown too large away and up. Its arms growing out as its fingers disappear into these weaving strands. And at first, you think this thing must be dead. And then you hear a breath as moss towards its center grows and ebbs and flows. The librarian is still alive as their eyes lock on you. Who are you?
My name is Lawrence. Are you the librarian?
Help.
What can I do? How long have you been here?
I don't know anymore. Please, I'm so. Can't even get the full sentence out.
I'll do whatever I can. I'm sure is there an answer to this somewhere in the library? If there is, I'll find it.
You must find conjuration or silly evil.
I forgot his name.
Lucas Debrang.
By Lucas Debrang. I know what that's why yes, absolutely. I'll find it.
Take my keys. It's in the dungeon below the library. You can gain access by the secret drawer in my desk.
I take the keys and I look at the librarian and nod my head. You can count on me. I'll be back.
I don't have much time. Please.
I nod and I head out the door.
Wait.
Yeah?
Whatever you do, don't open the door within the dungeon. Grab the book on the desk and don't open the door.
What's in the door?
Don't open it.
I nod again and I head out the door to go back to the library. And outside of the librarian's room, I definitely take a moment of looking at the keys and just like, what am I doing? On the one hand, this is everything, this is what wizards do, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is it's epic. You're in a haunted castle with dragons and, things that would be songs of you if you became a great wizard.
But, on the other hand, is this also too much?
That's for Lawrence to decide.
Yeah. To the library!
So, you shout that out in the dragon.
No!
So
I just shouted in my head.
So go ahead as you're making your way back to the library. I am going to need you, of course, to make another stealth check.
Does Lawrence do something different? He hasn't been doing great on these stealth checks.
No, he has not.
Do I evolve my tactics in some way? Because I've got my cloak, I've got the cloth on the shoes. That might be all I can do.
What I'll say is that the librarian's room did have things within it. So
I just come back in. Oh, hi. I don't have the book yet. I just want to take a look around. Do you have anything in here good for stealth?
Yes. Take my cloak.
What does the cloak look like?
It's very clear as you look and see this cloak hanging on like a hook on the wall, and it is a cloak of shadows.
Ooh.
Shadows move around through it, and it's actually like, I mean, I said it was easy to see because like it's such an obvious thing, but it's actually kind of hard to place your eyes on it, as it
That's why I didn't notice it when I was in here the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. So you, with that, would get a +2 to stealth checks.
All right. And I put the cloak of shadows on.
Yeah.
I look back at the librarian and I go, all right, this is how I'm going for real.
Please. Don't open the door.
Door shall remain closed.
Okay.
And then I go outside and I whisper to myself, maybe. I head back to the library.
All right.
Wizards look for knowledge.
That's true. Okay, so I'm going to need another stealth check.
Oh, God, I'm dropping everything. 5 + 1 + 2, so 8.
With an 8. Hey, man, we'll see.
Good. This is good. This is good. No problems.
You're running to get through the courtyard as behind you this dragon sees you, and it is starting, or it doesn't see you, but it knows where you are, and it is starting to move towards you. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check to see if you're able to get away and move around this dragon as it's trying to grab you.
Nat 20.
Wow. It doesn't even get to roll against that. With a nat 20, this dragon, it throws out its arm, barely missing you. It even tears a little bit of the shadowy cloak away from you, but you get snagged and are able to keep running. It digging into this earth. I mean, it is pulling clumps of this dirt out as it... and it jumps towards you, but you're able to dive through a window just in time as it crashes against it, trying to break to grab you as you find yourself within a study.
Oh my God. Okay. I gotta get out of here.
Understatement of the century.
I look around the study.
The study, is just next to the library. There does not appear to be anything with any type of life forms within this room.
Okay, is there just like a door out of it into the main hall? Okay, I'm gonna go through the door.
You start to crack open the door, and
Thank God it's not locked. And I can't do more keys.
See that a humanoid is right at the door, hitting its head against the door as though it's trying to break it in. Clonk, clonk, clonk. But it appears as though the moss has eaten so much of this creature's brain that it doesn't even know how to wield a door anymore.
Okay. And am I able to open the door, or is the creature stopping that?
You actually open the door, and it tries to hit its head as it moves through.
Oh, the door opened inwards. Okay. I was imagining I had to open the door outwards towards it.
No, you open it inwards, and it doesn't even notice you as it just keeps moving and like walks and hits another wall, and clunk, clunk, clunk continues as though the creature's controller pressed forward and is asleep at the wheel.
Poor fella. And I head out.
All right. You...
but then I feel guilty. I don't like leaving this person back here.
Yeah.
I take out my knife, and I look at it, and I go, all right, let's do the right thing. And I'm going to go back, because I'm just imagining myself in this situation, or my parents.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and stab this thing through the back of the head, like trying to kill its brain.
You go ahead and roll d20. Just roll an attack.
What little is left of this creature's brain?
Yeah.
Nat 20.
Wow. With a nat 20, you stab deep into its skull. It tries as though it's still just trying to hit its head against the wall as it clunk, and falls all the way down the wall and grows still. And you pull out the blade and are able to wipe it off and sheath it again.
Rest easy. And I head to the library.
The library's right nearby, so I won't make you roll a stealth check at this point, as you're able to get inside, and you're able to make your way over to the desk, and you find where that latch was, and you unlock it as you pull away the hidden compartment, and within is a little pulley, and you, would you pull on it?
I want to check for traps first.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I don't see any like clear like hidden compartments or like something that's gonna like shoot out at me.
Okay, roll an investigation.
I'm good at investigation. 16 plus 3, 19.
You notice that there are no traps attached to this.
So then yes, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it.
Okay. You pull it and it squeaks as the floor below you, not directly below you, there's a small piece of the floor that doesn't move, but the rest of it starts to makes a really loud cricking sound as it forms into a stairway going deep down below to where you assume is the dungeon. But as you hear that, you hear screams coming from all over the castle, and footsteps as things are sprinting towards, locked on your location.
How big is this hall that I'm in, like the library hall?
Well, the library's huge. This is within the center of this desk.
Yeah, I mean...
And so the actual, like, way to go down this stairway, it's pretty small. It's, like, 5 feet wide.
So I think to myself, what would Lucas Debrang do?
Okay.
And then I prepare an action. I'm going to cast, as soon as I see like these creatures start to enter the room, I'm going to cast Thaumaturgy to create an even louder screeching sound, very similar to that one, on the opposite side of the library, so that the creatures will run to that instead of running over to where I am.
You see as it actually works very effectively. You hear that sound and you see creatures run directly past you on all sides, like scrambling over the desk as they are running directly towards that sound.
Yeah, I just sort of hunker down behind the desk as I'm doing this. And then once it seems clear, I'm going to head down those stairs.
So you make a break for it down the stairs. And it winds for quite a while as you make your way lower and lower, the light dissipating as you are now completely shrouded in darkness. You get to what you assume is the bottom. Do you have anything to aid you with light?
I do have a torch.
Okay. So
I'll light that up.
You light the torch as the room comes into view, and it's actually quite small. There's a single desk with a small wooden chair and one door on the other side, and that's it.
A desk with a single... Is there anything on the desk? Is it like an ornate desk?
It's actually where you've seen that the librarian's rooms were all ornate. The desk above was extremely ornate. It was made of a red cherry oak. This is, almost like pathetically just an average wooden desk with just a few compartments.
I will look through the desk.
Okay.
Oh, so this is the vault, or do I feel like... Because you said not to open the door.
I said there's a dungeon, and that he said it was in his desk. And then he said not to open the door.
Okay, got it. Oh, dungeon, not vault. Okay.
Yeah, dungeon, not vault.
Yeah, okay. So then don't open that door that's right there. Okay.
Yeah. You look through the desk and you pull open one of the drawers and you see a book inside and you flip it over and it is in fact Conjuration Magic for Silly People with Lucas Debrang on the cover, arms folded.
Yes.
And then he's pointing
Famous.
and then he's pointing to 101.
The 101 is like springing out of his finger like magic.
Yeah.
He's conjuring the 101.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy's awesome. Okay. I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
I think I can't really wait. I immediately bust this book open and start to go through and like read, and I'm gonna roll for myself just to see if my conscience catches up with me and I realize I need to speed up to go help the librarian, or if I'm just too consumed by the knowledge.
Okay.
It's a 9. I'm gonna say that I realize that the librarian needs my help.
Okay.
And I'm like, I see like a chapter heading that might be something that related to like conjuring back my parents' spirits, but okay. And I close the book.
You close the book, and as you close it, the closing of the book just, it's a little bit loud as you hear a whimper coming from the closed door.
Is there someone in there? Hello?
Hello?
Who is that?
Who are you? Where's my dad?
I don't know where your dad is, but
The voice is coming from what sounds like a small little girl behind the door.
my name's Lawrence. How long have you been down here?
I don't know anymore. I guess my hair's touching my knees, so I think a long time.
How long ago?
I don't feel very good.
How long ago did the Daundreer family like get screwed over and
So
disappear?
the legend is that a witch cast a curse on them. That's a local legend. It's debated whether that's actually true or not, but the tragedies started happening around a century ago, and
Okay.
the final Daundreer, he passed away around 20 to 30 years ago.
I don't open the door, but I want to test the handle to see if it's locked. Or is there like a deadbolt or something I can clearly see?
You grab the door, and it is locked, but then you notice that it has a very reminiscent latch to it, and that the key that you use to come down here would also open this door.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Esmeralda. I'm Yorick's daughter.
Is there a Yorick Vandreer that I'm aware of?
There's no Yorick Vandreer, but there is a Yorick. Yorick's the librarian.
Yorick's daughter? You're the librarian's daughter?
Yes, please help me. I've been in here so long and I haven't seen him. Is he okay?
I don't answer that.
Okay.
Yeah. The warning about keeping this door closed now suddenly seems more sinister to me. And I'm like, I gotta get this daughter out of here. Like, I can't let her stay in there. Don't worry, I'm gonna get you out.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna open the door.
You put the key into the door, unlatching it. You hear it start to open as you twist the door. And within, you see a little girl with spindles of moss growing down into her back, and she is being held up. As she looks at you, please help me.
She seems to be in a similar situation to York.
You know my dad?
I've met him. Why are you down here?
They hid me down here when these things started to grow in me. I started to change. They thought it was best. My dad said it was best that he would find some type of cure. He would read to me sometimes, but he would never open the door. Where is he? He didn't abandon me, did he?
He didn't. He's still in the castle. I think he's doing his absolute best. And I think we can figure it out.
Good. Please. I just want to leave this room.
We'll get you out of here as soon as we can.
No. You're not going to leave me. I've heard people say that before, and I'm still here.
I've got the book that we need. And your dad thinks that this book is what's going to be able to save you.
Really?
That's what he told me.
So you promise you're going to come back?
I promise.
Pinky swear? And she holds out a pinky that is breaking apart as moss is rupturing from it.
In my culture, we don't do pinky swearing. However, I do cross my heart and hope to die. Which is, it's a partial lie. Like, I'm trying to commit. Like, I just don't want to touch her finger.
Yeah, I get it. She kind of like has a soft, half-hearted smile. She says, "Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I felt so alone. But I will leave you."
And I close the door. Are there any torches or anything in this room? Can I? Would she like me to light a torch or anything?
You do see torches in the room, but they've been so like grown over by moss that it seems like it'd be more dangerous than it's worth.
So I just close the door then.
You close the door.
I relock it.
And you lock it. Where are you headed?
Back to the librarian. York.
Okay. You head back to the librarian. I need you to make another beautiful stealth check.
So close to a nat 20. It was a 2. Plus 1, 3.
Just make... Oh, my God.
What'd they roll?
The creatures... Oh, you know what? Yeah. Okay, this makes sense. So you...
Does it, though?
Well, yes, it does, because I'll explain why it makes sense. So you come back up the stairs and you see that some of the creatures are like fighting amongst each other, thinking that they're nearing that they've cornered wherever the sound was that you created, trying to fight over one another, and like as they like pull on each other, like full bits of their bodies are yanked away and clawed away as you move into the you move past the study and you go out into the courtyard and you see that the dragon is over top of the creature that you killed earlier. It has dragged it out of the study and is now chewing on it and eating it. It does not notice you as the creatures of this castle rolled a nat 1.
I beat him with a 3.
That's why you always gotta check by rolling and seeing if they absolutely fuck it.
Can never just assume.
Nope. Yep, the creatures totally failed it.
I write down a little note in my notebook of because I always take notes, just like my hero Lucas Debrang.
Yep.
And I take a little note of moss creatures are cannibalistic.
Good to know.
And I head to the librarian's room.
You make it to the servants' quarters, and you walk to the librarian's room where you see Yorick laying there.
Yorick, I'm back.
You came. Quick. We have to act fast.
First, why is your daughter locked in the dungeon?
You opened the room.
Well, she talked to me through the door.
I told you not to open the door.
She was in trouble. I couldn't just let her. You should have told me. Why'd you hide that?
I'm so sorry. I thought you would listen. I thought you were different. I thought for a long time that I could save those I loved. That I could protect them from the evils of this world. I worked for the Count, thinking that I would discover things no one else could possibly know, that were just hidden away in the books written by the great minds. But I didn't prevent her from entering the library, staying away from those wretched books. I failed her. That's all I could ever do for her, it seems, is fail her. She opened that cursed book. She was the first one to fall ill. I thought if I trapped her down there, kept her away from all the rest, that it would not spread. I was a fool. Anyone who lays eyes on her, who breathes in her breath, is doomed.
A book caused all of this?
I'm sorry, lad. That's all I can tell you.
You kept things from me last time we talked.
I didn't want to have to do this. I'm sorry.
But we have
He raises his arm.
we have Lucas Debrang's book. We can figure out how to stop this before anything happens to me.
No. It was just the one book I thought was worth saving. That you would be able to take it from this cursed place. And I would tell you the truth of this castle. So you could prevent any other travelers from ever stepping foot on its vile steps again.
But there has to be an answer. There's always an answer in a book.
I've searched. I've read every book. When we discovered what was happening here, we had books come in from all across the world.
That's why he was so obsessed. Did you ever try reading the book that started this all in the first place?
That's the wicked trick of it. The pages are empty. There is no writing within it. A book without words. It's sadistic. I cannot let you leave this place, and the curse will be upon you soon. I'm sorry, my lad.
I'm sorry too. And I'm gonna cast the thaumaturgy to make the sound of the dragon inside this room as loud as possible. Because I know the moss is cannibalistic.
No! What are you doing? As He lifts up his hand, about to cast a spell on you, as the roof above shatters in. No! No! He attempts, magic grows within his hand as the dragon comes face to face with him. Please, don't! And the dragon grips its jaws down upon Yorick's face, crunching it in. He makes a terrible scream and then falls silent. The dragon begins feasting.
Holy shit.
What are you going to do? This dragon's going to notice you if you keep staying here.
I leave.
You, with the dragon completely disposed, are able to run out of here. You run across the lawn. You hear cries coming from all throughout the castle, but you keep running. You step back away from the castle. You see the dragon lift up and fly around its spire and land at the top, letting out one final cry. As you turn away from the castle, you head back to Sasha. You get back in front of her.
Can I actually really want the character to do something else.
Oh, okay. What did you want him to do?
Do I notice anything happening as far as like being infected with the moss? Do I feel different? Do I notice anything to like show me that I am infected?
You look down at your arms, you check them. They look fine. You check all around you. You look fine. You reach your hand across your face. You're safe. You're actually safe. And then you feel it on your forehead. Just a small strand. It must be just a piece of hair that's lied there, and you pull on it. It pulls out.
I hate you. I hate this description.
You look at it.
I don't.
It's a deep red moss. You pull it out, but you feel a scratch here. You pull on it. You pull it out. You pull moss out of your mouth. You get the point?
I get the point. Okay, so I'm going to use my one level 3 spell slot to conjure a familiar.
Okay.
Which is an owl.
An owl appears before you.
And I hand the owl the book. And I'm like at the gates of the castle,
Yeah.
and I hand the owl the book. The Conjuration Magic for Silly People by Lucas Debrang, 101.
The creature grabs it.
And I tell the owl to bring the book to Sasha. And then I'm going to go back inside and down into the dungeon in the library with Esmeralda. And I want to free her, take her outside, and then call the dragon one more time.
You see the owl flying away. You have Esmeralda, your arm around her, as you scream out, calling for this dragon. You hear its wings flapping, it growing closer to you. And that is where we will end today's session.
That was a serious one.
Sure was.
Every part of that was very serious, including titles of books.
Every part. I know. I was like, the vibe is serious, and then we've got silly people book.
But Lucas
Dude,
Debrang is
Lucas
really my
Debrang,
hero.
I love the concept of Lucas Debrang. Bring him back.
Yep.
A hero
Also
for our time.
Lockpicking books. And we probably got a cookbook.
Well, that was the thing, is you were like, I got to think like Lucas Debrang, and I was like, that could be anything. This man has written a book about everything.
Yep.
Michael, thank you so much for taking part in an epic adventure.
And Casey, thank you so much for weaving together a story in a world out of nothing.
You got it. And guys, thank you so much for listening. Make sure that you subscribe, that you tell somebody about the show. That is literally the only way we can keep growing, keep making more of this. We really appreciate you guys watching. Put in those comments, moments that you liked, things that you would love to see in new adventures, anything like that.
What book you wish Lucas Debrang had written?
Yes. Oh, I want to hear about all of the books that Lucas Debrang wrote. Please send all of those. Guys, we'll see you next time for another epic improvised D&D adventure.